Okay, we're ready. Mr. Severance.
Yes, I'd like to call us to discuss the new municipal buildings construction contracts, and Mr. Sawyers is going to lead this for us.
Thank you, Mr. Severns, Councilman Severns. All right, tonight, Council, I want to introduce two key partners helping us to navigate the next major phase of our municipal facilities plan. That includes the police station, the Justice Center project, the municipal center, and the fire station. As we move from vision and discussion into implementation, we're relying on professional partners to ensure that every dollar is spent wisely, every square foot is functional, and every step aligns with council's expectations and the community's needs. So first, I want to introduce and invite up to the podium Mr. Jim Russell. So Jim represents Pizzuti Solutions. That's a firm that we've selected as our owner's representative for the city's municipal facilities projects. So an owner's representative, this is a system similarly to the construction, not to confuse these two things, but similarly to the construction manager at risk process, is new to the city. So our owner's representative serves as the city's advocate and advisor through complex capital projects. They are not the architect and they are not the builder, but they are the experienced voice at the table, making sure the city's interest comes first from concept to completion. So I want to explain Pizzuti's role so far in some of these things, because we did work through a contract with them, and at the expiration of that contract, then we went to a full scale, we went out to an RFQ and really scored, what was it, 9? I believe we had 9 respondents. And Pizzuti came out on top from a team of judges in the city that looked at those different qualifications. So Jim and his team so far have already been working with us on the police station with guiding the scope and looking at the site, reviewing early design concepts with BKV, and helped us even select BKV, in fact. And that's our design engineer, our design architect, I should say, and selecting our CMAR, our construction manager at risk, as recently as last week. As far as the Justice Center expansion, they've been coordinating discussions between the court, the clerk's office, probation, the law director's office, and again, showing us an opportunity for savings by also working with BKV in that regard, the design firm there. The Municipal Center project, that's at 236 South Main Street. The COTC building, they've been advising us on that Central Ohio Technical College building transition with fit studies and advising us on that contract negotiation. And then the fire station facilities plan, helping us evaluate needs, site options, cost projections, developing what is called an OPR, which will help us when we go out to design, make that much more easily accessible process. So we won't have some of the stumbling blocks that we even had with the police station, which we did not have at the beginning, that OPR. So they've been advising us on financing strategies and construction delivery, but I'm going to turn it over to Jim and let Jim specifically talk about who he is, what Pizzuti is, and more specifics about an owner's representative.
Sure. Thank you, Tanner. Good evening, everybody. Really appreciate the opportunity to be here and talk a little bit about us and a little bit about your project and answer any questions that you have. Give you a little snapshot of Pizzuti Solutions, which is the arm that you'll be contracting with, hopefully. We've been doing owner's representative services for local government for a little over 20 years. We are a wholly owned subsidiary of the Pizzuti Companies, which is I'll say it, it's an at-risk development company. So for the last 50 years, for our own account, would build institutional grade industrial buildings, office buildings, hospitality, anything that a developer normally would do. We have done that for 50 years. About 20 years ago, in response to really trying to assist local government in understanding their projects, we created the Pizzuti Solutions company that I manage and run. Uniquely, I spent about a decade in the public sector. I'm a former city manager and economic development director, and part of the reason behind Pizzuti Solutions is I like to tell people this very simple story. When I was a city manager, I wasn't hired because I knew how to design and build a fire station. I was hired because I knew where to put it, how to pay for it, and how to sell it to the public. That was my job. And I'd hire an architect and a contractor and think, oh boy, I'm done now. I can sit back and watch it come out of the ground. And then all of a sudden I realized I was becoming King Solomon because the architect would come in and said, I cannot, this guy is not building what I'm drawing. The contractor would say, well, I don't like the way they did this. If I'm going to build it, someone will have to, fall off a scaffold. What do you want to do? And I'd say, well, I like you, better than you. And so I'm going to go with this direction because I had nothing else to base it on. It's not a great way to do public projects. And unfortunately, if you understand and expect that, just like each of you being an elected official, you come with your own experience, and it may not be specific to the things that you have to deliberate about. And that's part of the approach that we take. We want to be able to support local government and take our experience with design, construction, financing, but more importantly, as an owner who signs checks that you're paying for, and really help the public sector deliver their projects a little bit more specifically and as economically as they could be. So half of my staff came out of the public sector as well, because we always want to make sure we're fully aligned with understanding how government works, the importance of transparency, how do you work with the local community to make sure you're delivering the project that everybody expects. But we also have architects and contractors on staff who aren't allowed to design and they're not allowed to build, but it's there so when we're reviewing plans on your behalf that you have really someone that's a peer to the design team to make sure that we're meeting and there's no extra work, there's no extra spaces, there's no extra program involved that kind of bleed your projects and start taking it to a place that you can't afford. So we review those. The document that Tanner was talking about is called an owner's program of requirements or project requirements. And it really sets and dictates the things you must have in a project to make it run the way that Mount Vernon wants your projects to run. It can get very specific in terms of how the HVAC system is to run, all the way down to the color of walls, if that's the most important thing. It's a document then that the architects can use to kind of guide them, but it also is a tool for us to help control costs. So at each phase of the design as it comes in, from schematic design, design development, and construction drawings, we're reviewing those plans to make sure a few things happen. First, they're in compliance with that OPR document, so there's nothing extra in there that doesn't need to be in there. We're also doing peer review because, as you know, all of the plans get submitted to your own building department for review. And if there are items like, oh, well, here's a dead-end corridor that was labeled wrong, all those items, when you turn those plans in for permit, you get a correction letter back, and they have to be changed. And they're minor errors that were just nothing more than human error. Easy to fix, but it adds time. Time adds money to your budget. And then the last thing we do is to make sure we have what we expected the cost of the work to be in that project. That's the budget that you're actually entering into a contract with. And what we want to make sure each of those design phases, we're testing it to the budget to make sure that if that starts creeping up early in the process, we don't allow it to move forward. So we do a sign off at each phase of the project design submittals to say, hey, architect, you need to change this, you need to modify this, you need to answer why this is happening. And they sign it, we sign it, the city signs it, everybody signs it. No, before we move on, you're going to address these. And that's really how you control the cost, because if you take something as simple like we would never allow a project to move forward that may be more than 3 or 4% over the projected cost. We know we can find that much money in the next phase when you're getting more information. But if you say, well, we're going to move it at 8 or 10%, we'll find it. And then you get to design development and it's another 2 or 4%. All of a sudden you're at construction drawings and you're 15 to 20% over budget and you've already designed the building. Then you start hacking off things that you really need, things that you've really wanted. So we really work through that entire process to help manage your cost. Do cost avoidance is one of the biggest things that we do, is to help you make sure you're not spending money. Always work to find new money, always work to find new savings, but also we want to make sure that you're avoiding cost in the future. That's operationally and the capital cost, because as former public officials, we know at the end of the day, The easy part is getting it built. You have to staff it. You have to make sure you're budgeting for staffing and that the buildings operate efficiently. And so that's part of what we look at as well. So we're very excited about the opportunity here. You know, Tanner had mentioned, you know, we've been working, our initial engagement was really to look at your projects and give you advice on how to kind of get your arms around them and to make sure they're organized in a way to help support Brian and his staff to keep things moving. You know, we've been out of contract for a little while. We're trying to still stay involved to help you because this is the time some of the decisions that you're making are so important. And so, you know, we're really looking forward where we can fully staff and jump in and kind of take your project to where it needs to be. So there's my snapshot. We're very excited to work with you. I think the mayor knows that our CEO's sister moved to Mount Vernon, so she's now a resident. So I hear it all the time that we have to make sure that we're keeping everybody happy because now she's a new resident of Mount Vernon.
So just to recap here, what an owner's rep does in a nutshell: oversees project planning, budgeting, scheduling, and communication between all parties. That includes architects, contractors, finance, and city staff as they're on contract, an extension of city staff. Ensures that the city is making data-driven and cost-effective decisions. Ensures that we review, well, this is a big one, reviews feasibility and fit studies, construction methods, and budget assumptions. And this is my favorite thing about Pizzuti, keeps projects on track, within scope, and within budget. Because I know that if we do something not on time, I'm going to get a phone call from one Cigarette Parks, who was the scariest person I've ever met.
That's one of our vice presidents. She's very
Yeah.
focused on her job. So,
They are really good at keeping you on track. Yes.
yes.
So-
Sometimes annoyingly so. You know, one of the challenges that we have is we say it this way, but sometimes we have to tell our client that your baby's not as cute as you think it is. But, you know, if we take the picture right at the right angle, it's a beautiful baby. And that's part of how do we help you figure out those things and to make recommendations that sometimes are not easy to make, but they're the ones that you need to be able to hit the budget that you set.
And speaking of that critically important part, that budget, so while this conversation is about Pizzuti and Pizzuti Solutions, and I do want to save time for council to ask questions for Jim about an owner's representative, Pizzuti, our projects, I want to save that for the end if council will allow. But we can't get that done, and I don't think council would even want to carry this conversation on if we can't ask the critical next question, which is, you know, as Pizzuti has been advising us on finance strategies and construction delivery methods and sequencing and whatnot, they've been helping us answer the question what and how. But to complement the work of Pizzuti, they have encouraged us to talk to Andrew Brossart. And if Andrew would come up here, and council, you have this packet on your desk as well. Andrew, or Andy as we call him, we've engaged Bradley Payne Advisors. You've heard maybe that phrase mentioned in here before. They're represented here tonight by Andy. While Jim and Pizzuti help us manage the physical and operational side of these projects, Andy's role has been to help us answer the question we all share, which is, how are we going to pay for it, right? So he's been working diligently with our team, specifically with the auditor's office. And I'll go ahead and let Andy start talking about what we've uncovered so far and what the goals are in the next coming weeks and months.
Good evening. I'd like to start off our presentation about who are we and why we're here. And we got a little bit of that in a highlight as I came up to the podium. I've been in the business about 27, 28 years. I've been on both the underwriting side, which is, we call the underwriter, the folks who actually will issue the bonds for you to the capital markets, if that's the structure that occurs. About midway through my career, a major financial event hit us, and that was the fiscal crisis of 08, 09, 10, and forward. Out of that came really a hardline look in terms of the SEC relative to municipal financings and municipal bonds and how they're advised and guided as they go through the process of actually getting issued. what they found was it was a little bit disturbing to them in that the folks that are at the end of the game getting the big ticket when they issue the bonds and getting paid are also giving the advice. And so they said, time out, we really want to change how this works. Municipal advisors have always been around. I would say smaller communities had used them in the past. Larger communities use them a lot. But what SEC came out and did in 2012 was said, listen, you can still do that, give advice, and issue the bonds, but we're really going to make your life tough. And so they didn't make it a mandate, but they did say, listen, we really would like you to get a municipal advisor when you're working with financial decisions of this nature that really going to last and hit the community for a long period of time. So out of that, there were some things that they, and I'm not going to go through each one of these on the slides, but I want to take some highlights for you. But in particular, they mandated that when an underwriter is actually going to do a financing for you, they issue what they call a G17 letter. And it's a very, I don't think you guys have seen one yet because you haven't done a financing in quite some time, but in there, when I was on that side, it actually says that, hey, we don't have your best interest at heart. We're going to work for our own balance sheet, and you probably should hire a municipal advisor. So made the switch over to Bradley Payne, my partner John. I did the firm around since 2009. We went from 2 people now up to 13 folks across Ohio, offices across the Central Ohio. We work all over the state, but that's a little bit of background on us and who we are. We work with various different local governments in this area. We actually got involved by working on the residential development that's coming to market here soon. Is how we first met you all. So that's a little bit about how we got here, how the firm, how the industry has evolved over time. If you turn to page 3, this is a slide we like to show folks to kind of help you out a little bit here, just to understand a little bit of the differences. And if you're looking at this, you see the issuer, that would be you in the future. And so there are really 2 entities that have a fiduciary duty to make sure that what you're doing is the right thing, and that the products you are looking at are the right products to get you to your end goal. As it relates to us, in my former life, it mattered that you went through us to issue bonds because that's how they got paid. I could care less what we do here in terms of the end result. So it could be a bank placement, it could be a federal loan, state loan program, it could be a capital markets deal, it could be grant programs. So we are looking at every possible option to get to the end result, which is the most efficient form of financing for you, if that's the decision we decide to go for a project. Within that, though, you can see that in terms of the process, that middle portion there is the underwriter. They really operate as the go-to to investors, and so if you think about it this way, the investor's goal is to get higher interest rates when we get to the financing. Our goal is to make sure you get market rate interest rates, and that it's priced accordingly and appropriately compared to other deals that are done in the marketplace. And as we get to that process and that time frame, our goal is to pull up other financings that have been done to make sure that what the underwriters are telling you how it's going to be priced that day in the market, how they set the interest rate before they go to see investors, is appropriate. And so that's just a little bit of a snapshot in terms of what you'll see in the future as we go forward to issuing debt. We've put a slide in here a little bit about our firm. I hit some of those topics or those points for you already. But probably more importantly, and at the top of your head, mine is the next steps and what we've been doing so far. So when we got engaged and some of the financings were kicked around, our goal was really to come through and find out about debt affordability, right? And so what we've been doing in the process so far has been working with everyone here at the city and rebuilding sort of a 5-year forecast or history to get us to a 5-year forecast in the future, and that'll help us present back to you all what we see as affordability options and how this can be laid out so that you can accomplish your goals. So that's the first step. The other portion of that's involved with that is taking a look at the income taxes and what's happening here with growth, number one, with income taxes. Not only in just the what's here already, but also looking at the developments that have occurred, what's coming online, forecasting that out to see what sort of income tax revenues will increase here and how that impacts the ability to pay back your debt. We've also been looking at assessed valuation growth. You've seen a lot of that. And that's important because there's some things happening at the State House, but right now the way it sits, in terms of inside millage, you get that growth. Now that might change, and we have to shift and adjust to that. But we've been looking at that in terms of your inside millage as well. And then as it relates to some of the new developments and the concept you've been putting in place, some of the innovative techniques are new community authorities and the revenues that you're going to see off of that. And so we're going to take all of that information and sort of funnel it back into a projection, and we'll have some, hopefully, I think in the next couple of weeks to get that completed. We're very close. We're hoping to have it here tonight, but it's not ready yet. So that's sort of where we're heading in terms of the affordability model. In terms of the time frame, obviously we're here tonight to give you a status on all that. End of November, we'd really like to have those completed, and so you can have your decision matrix to decide how you want to go. If it's a move forward with whatever project, I think the time frame is pretty fast to get us into January and February for legislation before you all to get to a closing in the spring. We all think that time frame is doable. There's nothing there that I see as an alarming. And again, as to the end product, we just don't know yet. I think we're going to have to take a look at where things stand in the marketplace. The good news is for you all, as you're looking at a major financing project for the community, is that interest rates have been coming down, and we don't see that trend stopping at this point in time.
So looking ahead, together with Pizzuti and Bradley Payne helping us align our facilities vision, budget realities, and I underline that, budget realities, not our wants, but our needs, and implementing a strategy that will make those things a reality. This partnership ensures that we move forward methodically, not just building for today, but planning for the next generation of Mount Vernon and its residents and its needs. Tonight's meeting is a chance for council to meet them and also for the community to meet them. Understand their roles and ask any questions on how they will continue to support this process. So these are the transformative projects that we've been talking about, frankly, for a decade or more. The most significant municipal facilities investments that we will be making in the decades to come. With Jim Russell from Pizzuti Solutions and Andrew Brossar from Bradley Payne Advisors, I think that we have, and I think we all agree that we have the right expertise guiding us every step of the way. And our goal is to rebuild responsibly, or is to build responsibly, transparently, and with the community's trust. And I'm excited for council to meet that team and to help us continue doing exactly that. And want to give you an opportunity to ask some questions. And I know we're close to time, but if you'd permit to go over that time.
Bottom line
it's
is,
worth
what
it.
are you asking for council to do?
Tonight, nothing, but this is legislation that would authorize us to sign that contract for Pizzuti to allow them to be our owner's representative for the next few years, as long as these projects remain.
So that will come forward to us when?
This is a second reading of this legislation,
Okay.
and then
The next
the
meeting?
third, if we decide to take that, and we'll talk about that later in the legislative session, but if we decide to have a meeting on the 17th, we could potentially do it then. It would be nice to get them into contract. As Mr. Russell has said, they have been kind of going pro bono with us for a while, and it's the holidays, Bruce.
I have a question for Mr. Russell.
Yes.
Mr. Russell, I understand you've worked with the city for a couple of years or more. Tanner and Mayor and others are very pleased with your work. And actually I read the initial proposal and agreed that your proposal was good. I will share with you that I'm a little concerned with the Historical Review Committee 2-3 weeks ago now. There was a representative from Pizzuti, and I guess, just to be very frank with you, I kind of expected more. As a rep for the city, for that gentleman to understand the purpose of we were talking about demolition of a building. It's like why that fit in, the understanding of the overall projects of why the Justice Center the best solution for that, having been explored multiple places, why the city came to that, to understand more about the building, et cetera. Because the mayor and Mr. Sawyers were forced to recuse themselves, the Historical Review Committee just was left without really getting explanation of that. And I guess my expectations were for a representative from your company to help us and help the Historical Review Committee understand that. Are you familiar with, and I realize I'm sniping at you and I apologize, but I have a serious question. I mean, this is a big deal, significant, landmark projects in the city. And are you familiar with that Historical Review meeting and what happened there? Do you have a thought on maybe I'm misunderstanding what the rep should have done for us?
Yeah.
Could you speak to that, please?
Sure, because as soon as Don Wheat was who represented at the meeting, as soon as I got back, Don said, well, that was entirely different than what we anticipated that meeting to be. So typically, and we work many times in the whole development process, and I'll say our experience when you're dealing with anything that's historical, that typically what you would be presenting is not only the impact now, but is what are you going to be replacing the project with? What is the vision and the direction? And that's normally how we would prepare. In this case, I think the meeting was described a little bit more that this is perfunctory, that there has been an idea. Quite frankly, we still don't know because we haven't worked through enough of the design and understand what BKV, what the impact on that particular parcel would be, which is part of what we would normally want of that submission. So it was an instance where, Don expected a meeting that was more, they've been briefed, this is just being here to answer any questions, not to the level of detail that were asked, and he should have been more prepared. We should have asked the questions as part of why we want to get engaged, so I can release more time and effort to make sure that we can provide that kind of in-depth service. Only thing I can tell you is if we're engaged, it won't happen again. It won't be part of what we do because we, for many years, have been, we hold all that in high esteem. It's our reputation. So, and Don felt, like I said, as soon as he got back in the office, he's like, that did not go well because he felt unprepared. And Don's a very seasoned architect, very detail oriented. I'm very surprised that he either should have said, we can't make it, we should pull it, we weren't prepared. But I will tell you, it wouldn't happen again and won't happen again.
Fair enough. Thank you.
Give me an understanding of the clout the Historical Review Committee has if they don't recommend it. The council overrule it, or what? Or is it done?
So I'll just give context to that specific meeting. At no point did the Historical Review Commission say no to the demolition of the facilities behind the City Hall. If you can go back and watch what happened. They wanted more information. So what we can do, which as Mr. Russell alluded to, we don't know what the design of the new facility would look like. We can come back up with the design renderings, which even the administration was under the impression that the Historical Review Commission had seen the design renderings of MKC. And if we were to construct a facility that looked similar to that, and I'd want to put an asterisk even on that. The reason that Mr. Russell and Mr. Brossard are here because we want to first see if we can afford to construct a facility of that size and scope. But one thing I do appreciate about Pizzuti is that they don't like to show their client something that they can't afford to build. So before we like to go around and show these big, beautiful, brick and marble buildings to the community, we like to first be able to say, this is something that we can do and we can actually afford. So one of the things that we want to, withhold is, one of the things that, we've been operating on the assumption of when we're constructing the court facility or a new court design is all of these are square footage recommendations by, X amount of organizations that do this kind of thing.
But my question was,
Yeah.
is what clout does the Historical Review
Right, and I'm getting
Commission
there.
have
Right.
over council?
So if we come back and say, we are going to build on this parcel, they can not grant us a certificate of appropriateness. And if that happens, then ultimately, any state and federal money, depending on the type of funding that we would do in that area, in a, correct me if I'm wrong here, but a historical, it's a historical district versus a historical designated building per se, then that would complicate that project. But ultimately, that's not what happened with that with that group. The Historical Review Commission did not say, no, we don't want you to knock down these buildings. They essentially said, no, right now, we'd like you to come back and explain this project more.
I just want to know what the ultimate clout is, and the clout
Right.
you're telling me is financial,
Right,
potential financial
yeah.
snafu.
They ultimately, and I don't want to phrase it in a way that sounds like, they can't tell the city what to do. We are going to work with the Historical Review Commission because they're an extension of the community, right?
Right.
That's why they exist. So if, as an extension of the community, we are going to explain to them what the goal of this is, and the reason that we would to be taking down the buildings would be to improve the area, right? So one of the questions that was raised at the Historical Review Commission, and this is not a meeting to talk about the Historical Review Commission, but one of the questions that was raised was, will it be turned into a parking lot and left that way for multiple years? Well, no. The goal is to construct something on the lot, right? Or on that parcel. So that would have been a question that was easily answered had we been able to be there that day. And frankly, I'm not quite sure why it wasn't answered that way, even by, well, since he's not here, I'm going to throw him under the bus, Mr. Boren. So he should have been able to answer that question. So ultimately, we'll be back in December, but at that point in time, we could still work with Pizzuti, we could still work with Bradley Payne to see if, a multi-story, 36,000 square foot building, which is, I think, the rendering that MKC, which they would be familiar with, if that's even a financially feasible thing that we would propose. So a lot of the things that have been put out into the community are just kind of examples of design, because people do like to see pictures. If you say, that you start giving measurements and just, kind of rough recommendations, people can't conceptualize that if that's not that's not the industry that they come from, or you start letting other people paint pictures and that, or like an abandoned parking lot, which was never the goal. But we want to make sure that if we're the ones that are doing it, we're sitting down with people like Pizzuti that have done this, countless times across the country, and people like Bradley Payne that know how to finance it if we do decide to pull the trigger on something
At
like
the end
this.
of the day, that, at that point in time, that was not really impacting your schedule, because there's a lot of work to understand what's going on, and we fully support and understand any historic board that we've worked with. We know the information they want, and I think it's just a situation where, as that project is advancing, we'll be able to present on your behalf the real case of what you're doing, how you're doing it, what's the impact, what's going to be preserved or not preserved. We've done it many times, and again, this was one we didn't perform as much. We weren't in as much control we normally would like to be, because we want to deliver those projects.
Well, not to belabor it, but if that's, Historical Commission loves building A and B, they don't care about C, or vice versa, whatever, can it move forward?
Yeah, but at first, I think that we need to discuss with the Historical Review Commission on what the intention is for the entirety of the project.
Okay, all right,
There's a process there.
Yeah.
you're over time.
We are over time.
Okay, we're going to adjourn
Thank
the streets and public buildings. I'm sorry I took that out a little longer. And we're going to move now to utilities with Mr. Ruckman to discuss the water project request for qualifications. Mr. Ruckman.
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. We have a presentation on the water plant and distribution upgrades. I believe Director Sawyers is going to run us through this. So if you could try to have it wrapped up by
Yeah.
7:29.
Okay. No pressure. Hey, that's a water joke. All right. Hi, council. Me again. So, water plant and distribution upgrades. Okay, last time we were talking about the wastewater plant. Now we're talking about the water plant and distribution. So as we go through this, I would remind you that this is only for study and design. So none of this is about construction. When we start talking about the financing of these things, remember that we are only asking, at the end of the day, we're only asking to issue an RFQ for study and design. Okay. So, turn with me, if you will, to the overview. So Mount Vernon's water infrastructure has served the community well for decades, but key components now require modernization to ensure continued reliability, safety, and quality. I recognize that I'm breaking every rule of PowerPoint, but also, if this is circulated in the community, I want all the information to be right there, not just in little talking points. So I hear that, and I move forward. All right. Overview number one here, the water. There are three things in this particular piece of legislation. We're going to talk about 1, 3, and 2, mostly because I feel like the second thing is going to suck all the air out of the room. So we're going to talk about the order 1, 3, and then 2. Okay, because that's how it's ordered in the legislation. The water treatment plant's current lime handling system is outdated and inefficient, resulting in higher product consumption and higher maintenance demands. New lime slakers and silos will automate mixing and storage and ensure consistent water quality while lowering operational costs. Now jump over to 3 with me, if you will. As Mount Vernon grows, the southern service area is increasingly strained by limited storage, and pressure capacity will need studied. Right now, pressure is fine on the south end, but as growth continues, both residential and commercial, we have to study pressure zones. So a new water tower will balance system pressure, improve fire protection, and provide reliable service during peak demand or maintenance events, ensuring the city's infrastructure keeps pace with development and public safety needs. And now we switch back over to 2. The city's current chlorine dioxide system continues to operate safely and efficiently for our needs. However, due to macroeconomic changes, particularly in the textile sector and other water-reliant developments, it is prudent to evaluate and transition toward a sodium hyperchlorite disinfection system. This approach positions the city to maintain high water quality standards and meet evolving residential demands. All right, so now we're going to tackle this one piece of this project at a time. So this is our current lime system challenges. Those 2 photos that you're seeing are our current lime silos and our current lime slaker. Existing lime handling equipment is outdated and undersized. It requires increased maintenance costs and operator time. It's aging and deteriorating equipment requires more time, more product, and more money. Lime feed inconsistencies could potentially impact water softness, and what that is it's when the water feels smoother and cleaner because it doesn't have a lot of minerals like calcium and magnesium in it. That's why that's important. So our proposed solution is new slakers and lime silos. So what's proposed is to install 2 modern lime slakers for precise mixing, add dual lime silos for storage and automated feed. We already have one of those silos. And then enclose that system for dust control and safety. And the benefits, of course, improved water quality stability, lower maintenance and chemical waste, and enhanced operator safety and efficiency. And there at the bottom is an example of a newer lime slaker.
Define slaker. What's a slaker do for me? I want one at home.
You want a new slaker at home? I would not recommend that, Bruce. That's large cost for you. All right.
What's it do?
Let's have.
Aaron, would you like to come up and explain a lime slaker?
Evening. Lime slaker, our particular ones we have a silo above it, comes down to a cone, and then the lime is like a granular, almost like water softener salt that feeds into the water, and it mixes, creates a slurry. So then it becomes it's slaked, and then it goes on to the clarifier and is injected inside the clarifier.
Pump that up.
Pumps
It is
it
pumped.
up into the clarifier.
We currently pump that up.
Currently pump.
Yeah. A new design would be a gravitational feed for that lime.
That would be the most cost effective and efficient. So.
Still want one?
I don't want one.
Yeah. Change your mind? All right. Glad to fix that for you, Bruce. All right. Next slide. Thank you. So growing distribution limits are on our south side of town. Our southern service area relies on system pressure specifically from the water treatment plant. So here we have a shot of Liberty Crossing being developed. Limited redundancy during high demand. This provides limited redundancy during high demand or maintenance events. And growing neighborhoods and commercial corridors require planning for capacity and addressing fire flow concerns. So what's proposed here? A new water tower. So construct an elevated storage tank of likely up to 1 million gallons, strategically located either near the industrial park on Newark Road or near the Twin Oak property. And the pressure zone is dependent. We'd look at studying the current pressure zone or a new pressure zone. And we would integrate that with modern SCADA for system control and monitoring. The benefits, of course, to improve system pressure and reliability, enhance fire protection, and support residential and commercial growth, reducing strain on downtown infrastructure. That downtown infrastructure, of course, referencing specifically the water plant itself. There's a shot of our water tower.
Hellbender.
And yeah, I did slip a hellbender in on it, in case you were concerned.
Yeah,
I'm going to make
yeah.
the hellbender happen.
Stop trying to make it. Stop trying to make it happen.
Next slide. All right. You're going to like the hellbender. I guarantee it. All right. This was the big one. This one's actually optional. But I think this one's actually the one that would be the most supported by the community. The last two things that we've talked about are truly operational. Not exactly the thing that you could probably build a campaign on, lime silos and slakers, or even a water tower, even with a hellbender attached to it. But currently, folks, public, we have a chlorine dioxide treatment system, a disinfection system. So let's understand what that current system is. And the picture that you see up there is the pump.
Chlorine dioxide generator.
It's a chlorine dioxide generator.
A chlorine dioxide generator is the specific term for the image that you see up there. So what is it? What is that system? That's a piece of the system. But a disinfection system uses a powerful oxidizing agent to kill bacteria, viruses, and other harmful microorganisms that are sometimes found in drinking water before treatment. What it does, it effectively disinfects the water supply without producing high levels of harmful byproducts, mostly found in surface water sources. Why it's used. It provides strong, consistent disinfection and has served Mount Vernon well in maintaining safe, high-quality drinking water. So with those three things, you're probably wondering, why are we even talking about this? It works, it's efficient, it's effective. What's the problem? Why we're considering a change. While our current system continues to operate safely and efficiently, external factors, particularly in the textile sector, and anticipated community growth make it prudent to explore sodium hyperchlorite as a more adaptable long-term solution. So here's what transitioning systems into sodium hyperchlorite would look like. And here's an example of a sodium hyperchlorite system. A sodium hyperchlorite disinfection system uses a liquid form of chlorine to disinfect drinking water safely and effectively. How it works? Pretty similar. The system injects controlled amounts of a solution into the water to kill bacteria, viruses, and other microorganisms, providing a consistent and reliable disinfectant residual throughout the distribution system. How it compares? These systems are far more common across Ohio and the United States because they are easier to operate, store, and regulate than gas-based or chlorine dioxide systems. We are one of 2 chlorine dioxide systems in Ohio. Potential drawbacks. The chemical can degrade over time, requiring careful storage and handling, and it may slightly increase corrosion potential in pipes if not properly balanced. But these issues are manageable with modern monitoring and treatment practices, right? That the same could be said for chlorine dioxide. All right, now turn to the next one. Familiar to anybody? There is a phenomenon called washout. What happens? The washout phenomenon occurs when certain fabrics or garments, especially cotton products, develop light or discolored spots after washing, often appearing as if bleach was used. Okay? What is the chemistry behind this? This is caused by a chemical reaction between residual dye compounds left from the textile manufacturing process, and you can see that down in the corner there, and oxidizing agents present in the water supply or in some laundry detergents and powders. So I want to slap an asterisk on this too. If you are on a sodium hyperchlorite system, on well water, doing your laundry down in the creek, don't recommend. And you use a laundry detergent that has an oxidizing agent in it, the same thing will still happen because this is a chemical reaction. What's happening is an oxidizing agent meets a sulfur dye, and if that's not properly bonded, then this washout occurrence happens. And it doesn't really matter what kind of water that you use. Right? The difference is we have an oxidizing agent in our water. It's totally fine. It's totally safe. But really, the problem comes from the textile manufacturer. So the industrial route, let's look at that. Incomplete dyeing during the textile production, most commonly involving sulfur-based dyes used in denim, uniforms, linens, can leave trace materials that react when exposed to oxidizers such as chlorine dioxide. So who's at fault? The issue is not caused by the person doing the laundry. You're doing okay. You're doing fine. The issue is not caused by the washing machine. It's not caused by the city's water. It's not caused by the retailer selling you a product. Let's think about this in an example. If you took 10 garments, 10 brand new garments, and you put them in a washing machine. Let's walk through that scenario. If the fault lied with the person doing the laundry, then that should happen to every garment that's in the washing machine every time that person does the laundry until that person stops doing what they're doing. If the fault lied with the washing machine, then that scenario would happen to every garment until you changed your washing machine every time. If the fault lied with the city's water, it would happen every single time to every single garment every load. But that's not what happened. All over. If the fault lied with the retailer, that place would already be out of business. So somebody would have done something to them. This is truly the manufacturer receiving, or the manufacturer supplying a product that has not been properly bonded. So why it matters locally? Because Mount Vernon's water system currently uses chlorine dioxide, which is a strong oxidizer, and it can occasionally contribute to revealing these latent dye flaws that are particularly particularly as textile imports fluctuate in quality due to global manufacturing changes that are completely out of our control. So what's the path forward? Recognizing this and understanding that Mount Vernon is one of only 2 public water systems in Ohio that use chlorine dioxide, it is prudent and forward-thinking to explore a sodium hyperchlorite disinfection system that achieves the same public health protection without contributing to this washout effect. But that's not the only benefit. There is improved material compatibility. Mount Vernon's current chlorine dioxide system produces a highly oxidative environment that requires the use of ductile iron and copper water lines to prevent premature degradation. Sodium hyperchlorite is far less aggressive, allowing the system to safely accommodate a broader range of materials. By reducing oxidative stress on distribution systems, we can extend the life of our water mains, service lines, valves, and fittings, translating directly into lower long-term maintenance and replacement costs for the city. And I'd point to lessons from Hamilton, Ohio, the other city with a chlorine dioxide treatment system. The city of Hamilton, the only other public water system using this system, has documented premature failure of HDPE, which is high-density polyethylene lines, and PEX, material that you often use in your homes, where those materials were exposed to long-term oxidizing stress. So Mount Vernon's proactive change would help us avoid these same challenges. Transitioning to sodium hyperchlorite would allow Mount Vernon to revise our material requirements, enabling the safe use of plastic materials such as C900 or PVC for new development and public projects without the risk of accelerated deterioration. And using more affordable, durable materials would lower installation and capital costs for both the city projects and private developers, freeing up budget capacity for additional infrastructure work and new development opportunities. Additionally, these savings ultimately extend to new home buyers as developers can pass on reduced infrastructure costs, helping Mount Vernon maintain housing affordability and encourage continued growth during a period of historically high home prices. So now we go, these lovely images there, the old and the new, or the old and the less old, I would say. Project funding and financial approach. So while exact project costs are not yet known, as these are not designed, right? The city has developed internal cost estimates based off of similar projects for each proposed improvement. And these estimates have already been factored into our long-term debt service planning through that rate study, ensuring that no additional rate increases beyond those already proposed would be required to accommodate these projects. And again, I remind everybody that this request is solely for qualifications and proposals for design and study, not for construction. We would be engaging engineers now, and that'll allow us to refine those costs, evaluate alternatives, and confirm system needs with accurate data. City Council will have multiple opportunities for review and approval, first when authorizing design contracts, and again prior to committing any construction funding. If at the time of design completion, council determines that a project's cost-benefit ratio does not align with the city's priorities or the community's needs, the project can be paused or discontinued without any further financial obligation. But I would recommend, based on just what we've heard from the community, that this would be something I think that the public would be willing to support. So council, do you have any questions or comments right now?
How can it be, I can understand if I get a new garment and it has this from the manufacturer, it impacts it. But if it's like 2 years old and it happens, how's that happen?
It's the bond, it's the efficacy or the strength of the bond during the sulfur dioxide bonding process. And there's a lot to the sulfur dioxide bonding process, if I recall. It takes like 7 times or 8 times to put that dye so that it is there. And then it must cure for a certain period of time in order to lock in. If it doesn't lock in, an oxidizer will reveal that lack of a bond, if you will.
Yeah. This is particularly, you see this a lot with thicker garments. So like towels.
towels, yeah.
Towels are, if you have cotton towels,
Spreads.
yep.
We did an experiment here not long ago where we took different bath towels. One of our water treatment plant, water or wastewater treatment, who was it? Water treatment plant got 12 towels, put them in the laundry, and one had washout, but the others did not. So
You can get the same, go to the same supplier and get the same towel from the same brand and get 10 of the same kind and only one of the same kind. You get them in a pack, and only one of those may experience, the washout situation. But that's mostly because, it's a flaw in the dyeing process.
Okay. Anything else, council? We're back on time frame. Mrs. Seabolt will be here at 7:30, so we need to have a piece of legislation prepared, so why don't we give him time to do that?
Sure.
Anything else? We're going to adjourn the Utilities Committee. We're going to be now in recess until 7:30 p.m. when we begin the legislative portion of the meeting. Thank you. to be my birthday. And meeting to order. And Mr. Sherman, please call the roll.
Mr. Ruckman.
Here?
Ms. Keener.
Here.
Mrs. Hager. Mrs. Siebel.
Here.
Mr. Severance.
Here.
Mr. Mahan.
Here.
Mrs. Woods.
Here.
Anyone want to excuse Mrs. Hager?
So moved.
Second.
And moving to second, she'd be excused. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. She is excused. The invocation this evening will be given by Pastor Sheila Kent from Riley Chapel Baptist Church. Please rise to the invocation and remain standing for the pledge. And thank you, Pastor Kent, for being here.
You're welcome.
Precious Lord, we ask today that you will be down and that you will fill this room, Lord, with your presence, Lord, so that as they make the decisions for this community, it's for what is very best for the people of the community. We also ask that you will continue to touch our nation, our state, this county, everything, Lord, that is good for the people, Lord, and that you will be with all of those that have the say-so on all of the laws and all of the things to do that, to bless this community. We ask all of this thing that you will give them strength. In Jesus' name, amen.
Thank you, Pastor. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Council, in your packet are the minutes from the October 27th meeting. Are there any additions or corrections? If not, I'd ask for a motion for approval.
So moved.
Second?
And moved and second, they be approved. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. They are approved. Mr. Sherman, any petitions or communications?
No.
Council, you have in your packet a committee report from Utilities Commission, Utilities Committee. For your review, I see no liquor control licenses or proclamations. We do have one person wanting to speak on matters of city concern, and that is Jennifer Showman wants to talk about the water options presented. Please come to the podium and say your name and address and limit your comments to 4 minutes. If you need an additional 4 after that, you can appeal to council for 4 more minutes.
So I'm Jennifer Showman, and address, is that what you said? 200 North Edgewood Road, Mount Vernon. So thank you, Tanner, for the informational before this meeting about the different options that we're facing with the water treatment plant. I just wanted to, so there was option 1, 2, and 3, and 2 is the one with the changing of the chemicals that we discussed, or you discussed. And I just wanted to know if, as part of this, an analysis is going to be done, because it sounds like this is great for new builds, the PEX lines. It's cheaper, it's what people want to go to, but we're looking at Mount Vernon where we have that aging infrastructure. And I feel like there's been a lot of concerns with that aging water pipes and infrastructure. And I know that switching does seem to, there is some concerns about corrosion, and I'm not a scientist. I don't think anyone here is, but is there going to be some sort of analysis on, is that little bit of corrosion going to cause mass failures on different pipelines just because they are so old and they're already probably not, it's not like we're talking about new pipes where, you know, you've got the new pipes going in for and switching, but like, what's the feasibility of, you know, we're not going to be switching the whole city to PEX lines. Obviously, if it breaks, maybe we'll make that switch. I don't know how that conversion works. But I guess I want to know, and I would just like some more feedback on, is some sort of study going to be done on what that means and the implications for the city that's beyond the new building and repairs in that way. So, thank you.
Any response? If you have a response, please get back. Mrs. Showman with those answers, so she has those. We're going to go now into the legislative portion of the meeting. There was one addition that was added tonight, which is resolution number 2025-123, and there are a couple of changes on whose committee it is, and those are highlighted in your agenda. Mrs. Keener will take those forward. Other than that, are there any other changes to the agenda as presented? If not, I'll assume it's approved by consensus.
Mr. Hawkins, President Hawkins, sorry. I think now might be an appropriate time to just go ahead and acknowledge that Resolution 2025-116 should be under Police, Fire, and Civil Defense with Councilman Mahan as
Wait,
opposed to
I have that
Finance.
down too.
Okay.
116, that's Mr.
That was my fire truck that
Yeah,
I didn't
yeah.
get to go.
Move Mr. Mahan.
I wanted to buy the fire truck.
Okay,
still
we're going
vote
to
for
start
it,
with
James.
resolution number 2025-107. Mr. Sherman.
A resolution authorizing the Safety Service Director to enter into a qualifications-based contract with Pizzuti Solutions LLC for owner's representative services related to the construction of new municipal buildings and declaring an emergency.
Mr. Severance,
We'll give this a second reading tonight.
this resolution receives a second reading. We now move to resolution number 2025-108. Mr. Sherman.
A resolution authorizing the Safety Service Director to advertise for bids and enter into contract for the Aquatic Features Reconditioning and Restoration Project at Hiawatha Water Park and declaring an emergency.
Mr. Severance.
Yes, we'll give this a second reading as well.
Resolution receives its second reading. We now move to resolution number 2025-109. Mr. Sherman.
A resolution authorizing the Safety Service Director to release a request for qualifications for identifying and selecting a qualified firm or firms to provide professional design services related to the construction of 1, slakers/lime silos at the water treatment plant, 2, a sodium hypochlorite treatment system to replace the chlorine dioxide treatment system at the water treatment plant, and 3, a water tower in the southern part of the city, and declaring an emergency.
Mr. Ruckman.
Yes, Mr. President, I'd like to give this a second reading this evening.
This resolution receives its second reading. We now move to resolution number 2025-111. Mr. Sherman.
A resolution authorizing the Safety Service Director to advertise for bids and enter into contract for the 2024 CDBG Burgess and Hamtramck Street Reconstruction Project and declaring an emergency.
Mr. Severance.
Yes, we'll give this a second reading, and I'd like to have a 10-minute committee meeting at the next.
This resolution receives its second reading. We now move to resolution number 2025-110. Mr. Sherman.
A resolution authorizing the Safety Service Director to advertise for bids and enter into contract for the 2024 CDBG Riverside Park Neighborhood Project and declaring an emergency.
Mr. Severance.
Yes, we'll give this a second reading, and just like the previous one, just to clarify, the 10-minute meeting will be on the 24th, as well as we need a 10-minute meeting for this one on the 24th. Thank you.
Resolution receives its second reading. We now move to resolution for first reading. First on this resolution number 2025-112. Mr. Sherman.
A resolution authorizing the Safety Service Director to dispose of vehicles in the police department not needed for public use by the city of Mount Vernon and declaring an emergency.
Mrs. Seabolt.
Thank you. I would like to suspend the rules that require 3 separate readings and take resolution number 2025-112 to its third and final reading.
Second.
Been moved and seconded for the suspension of the rules. Any discussion on the suspension? Mr. Sherman.
Mr. Ruckman.
Yes.
Ms. Keener.
Yes.
Mrs. Seabolt.
Yes.
Mr. Severns.
Yes.
Mr. Mahan.
Yes.
Mrs. Woods.
Yes.
The rule is suspended. Mrs. Seabolt.
Thank you. I move to adopt resolution number 2025-112.
Second.
Been moved and seconded for the adoption of this resolution. Any discussion? Mrs. Seabolt.
Thank you. Well, now we've got 3 vehicles here we want to get rid of. That someone's going to have so much fun in a Durango. What on earth will we do? Oh, we got a Hyundai here, a black one, or a Chevy. We've got some neat cars to sell. Just waiting for someone to have fun.
Come on down.
Yeah, jeez.
What can Janice do today to get you in a Hyundai?
Yes, we want to have some fun, you guys. Christmas is right around the corner, and somebody will be really happy with this 2017 vehicle.
Can't
So
beat
we
her.
got them there for you. Any questions?
I don't think so. Mr. Sherman, let's move on.
Well, there went your birthday present.
Mr. Ruckman.
Yes.
Ms. Keener.
Yes.
Mrs. Seabold.
Yes.
Mr. Severance.
Yes.
Mr. Mahan.
Yes.
Ms. Woods.
Yes.
The resolution is adopted. Now we move to resolution number 2025-113. Mr. Sherman?
A resolution authorizing the use of a portion of the proceeds of bonds or bond anticipation notes of the city in the estimated principal amount of not to exceed $30 million to be issued for the purpose of constructing, renovating, and improving facilities for the Mount Vernon Justice Center and related functions, furnishing and equipping the same, improving the sites thereof, and acquiring real property and interests therein as may be necessary in connection therewith, and authorizing and approving related matters, and declaring an emergency.
Mrs. Seabold?
We'll give it its first reading so we can hear Zach read it again.
Like,
Resolution receives its first reading. Now I move to resolution number 2025-114. Mr. Sherman?
A resolution authorizing the use of a portion of the proceeds of bonds or bond anticipation notes of the city in the estimated principal amount of not to exceed $25 million to be issued for the purpose of constructing a police station and related facilities, furnishing and equipping the same, improving the sites thereof, and acquiring real property and interests therein as may be necessary in connection therewith, and authorizing and approving related matters, and declaring an emergency.
Mrs. Seabold?
We'll give it its first reading also.
Those two amount to potential $55 million. That's a lot of money. Next resolution is resolution number 2025-115. Mr. Sherman?
A resolution authorizing the use of a portion of the proceeds of bonds or bond anticipation notes of the city in the estimated principal amount of not to exceed $6 million to be issued for the purpose of purchasing and renovating an existing building to use as the Mount Vernon Municipal Center and furnishing and equipping the same, and authorizing and approving related matters, and declaring an emergency.
Mrs. Seabold?
We'll give it its first reading.
This resolution receives its first reading. Now I move to resolution number 2025-116. Mr. Sherman?
A resolution authorizing and directing the Safety Service Director of the City of Mount Vernon, Ohio, to purchase a fire engine for the fire department, and declaring an emergency.
Mr. Mahan?
Thank you, sir. We're going to give this its first reading, and we're going to want a short committee meeting to discuss the cooperative purchasing program. Mr. Sawyers, will 5 minutes be enough for that, or 10?
I would like to hold off on that committee meeting,
Okay?
depending on which date we choose to schedule that meeting. Maybe now would be the time to discuss when we want to schedule.
I'm
that.
sorry, I meant that, I should have said that on the 20, that will be 2 weeks from today.
Yeah.
The committee
So-
meeting be appropriate, or would you want to delay that?
I would like to schedule the committee meeting, if possible, on the 17th for the special committee meeting.
Okay, you want this committee meeting on the 17th,
Yes,
okay? And will 5
Well,
minutes be appropriate, or you want?
that would be fine.
Okay,
But we have not scheduled that. There are a handful of these pieces of legislation that we'd like to discuss at that time too, which would precede the special work session.
okay.
But we haven't got to the point of where we've scheduled that yet.
I also
So-
believe that Mrs. Seabolt said she wanted to purchase the fire truck, so we can also discuss that.
Well, then we can just do it now.
Yeah, I want to play.
Why delay?
Okay,
I
first
want to
reading,
use the siren.
5-minute committee meeting, please.
Yeah.
Okay, that resolution sees its first reading. We now move to resolution number 2025-117. Mr. Sherman?
A resolution authorizing and directing the auditor of the City of Mount Vernon to transfer certain funds.
Mrs. Seabold?
Thank you. You got it faster than me. Okay, I want to suspend the rules requiring 3 readings and take resolution number 2025-117 to its third and final reading.
Second.
Been moved and second for the suspension of the rules. Any discussion on the suspension? Mr. Sherman?
Mr. Ruckman.
Yes.
Ms. Keener.
Yes.
Mrs. Seabold.
Yes.
Mr. Severance.
Yes.
Mr. Mahan.
Yes.
Mrs. Woods.
Yes.
The rules suspended. Mrs. Seabold?
Thank you. I move to adopt resolution number 2025-117.
Second.
Been moved and second for the adoption of this resolution. Any discussion? Mrs. Seabold?
Thank you. Hey, Dan,
Hi.
let's talk money.
Okay, well, this isn't a very big one as far as these goes, but this is moving money from 3 different lines in the cemetery fund to boost the line of the salary lines by about $58,500 to carry them through the end of the year. They had extra money in some of the other lines, so they're just trying to bolster themselves up to make it through the year. The people.
Any discussion? Mr. Sherman?
Mr. Ruckman.
Yes.
Ms. Keener.
Yes.
Mrs. Siebel.
Yes.
Mr. Severns.
Yes.
Mr. Mahan.
Yes.
Mrs. Woods.
Yes.
Resolution is adopted. Next resolution is resolution number 2025-118. Mr. Sherman.
A resolution authorizing the Safety Service Director to advertise for bids and enter into contract for the Mansfield Avenue and Cottage Street Sanitary Improvements Project and declaring an emergency.
Mr. Ruckman.
Yes, I'd like to give this its first reading.
This resolution receives its first reading, and we now move to resolution number 2025-119. Mr. Sherman.
A resolution authorizing the Safety Service Director to advertise for bids and enter into contract for Phase 1 of the Memorial Park Improvements Project and declaring an emergency.
Mr. Severns.
Yes, we will give this a first reading tonight.
This resolution receives its first reading. We now move to resolution number 2025-120. Mr. Sherman.
A resolution confirming the mayor's reappointments to several commissions and boards and declaring an emergency.
Mrs. Woods.
Thank you. I move to suspend the rules requiring 3 separate readings and take Resolution 2025-120 to its third and final reading.
Second.
Been moved and second for the suspension of the rules and a discussion on the suspension. Mr. Sherman.
Mr. Ruckman.
Yes.
Ms. Keener.
Yes.
Mrs. Siebel.
Yes.
Mr. Severns.
Yes.
Mr. Mahan.
Yes.
Mrs. Woods.
Yes.
The rule is suspended. Mrs. Woods.
Move to adopt Resolution 2025-120.
Second.
Been moved and second for the adoption of this resolution. Any discussion? Mrs. Woods.
Thank you, Councilwoman Woods and council. This is kind of the end of the year where we're also making sure that we are able to continue the business of the different committees and boards that are of, by, and for the people as it relates back to the Constitution. And so everyone who is currently on there is very happy to serve, continue service. Chip Wilson with the Civil Service Commission, Curtis Adams on the Board of Zoning Appeals, Jim Meyer on the Metropolitan Housing Authority, Samantha Ramsire on the Local Board of Tax Review, and we also have for the NCA, which is also timely because we're going to be meeting very soon as well. Aaron Daniels and Jason Hall will be, we're asking that you reappoint them to that NCA board as well. So anyway, after the first of the year, there will be some more. There will be some council appointed. You will have the council appointees that you will have to take care of at that point.
You have Gordon Gann
Number
on here,
6.
too.
Oh, Gordon Gant for Utilities Commission. Thank you very much. Yeah, and Gordon obviously is doing a very good job with us in the Utilities Commission. So, thank you.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Mr. Sherman.
Mr. Ruckman.
Yes.
Ms. Keener.
Yes.
Mrs. Siebel.
Yes.
Mr. Severns.
Yes.
Mr. Mahan.
Yes.
Mrs. Woods.
Yes.
Resolution is adopted. We now move to resolution number 2025-121. Mr. Sherman.
A resolution authorizing and directing the Safety Service Director to advertise for bids and enter into contract for sludge removal required for the years 2026, 2027, and 2028, and declaring an emergency.
Mr. Ruckman.
Yes, Mr. President, I'd like to give this its first reading.
This resolution receives its first reading. Now I move to resolution number 2025-122.
A resolution to make appropriations for current expenses for the City of Mount Vernon, State of Ohio, during fiscal year ending December 31st, 2026.
Mrs. Siebel.
Just a second. My phone bothered me. Okay. So this one I've got Pass tonight, correct? No,
No,
not tonight.
no.
First reading.
First reading.
Okay. First reading for
Big
this.
no.
This resolution received its first reading. The final resolution this evening is the one that was added tonight. This is resolution number 2025-123. Mr. Simmons.
A resolution authorizing the Safety Service Director of the City of Mount Vernon to enter into an agreement to acquire 200 Mansfield Road located within the City of Mount Vernon and declaring an emergency.
Mr. Severance.
Yes, I move to suspend the rules requiring 3 separate readings and take Resolution 2025-123 to its third and final reading.
Second?
Moved and seconded for the suspension of the rules. Any discussion on the suspension? Mr. Sherman.
Mr. Ruckman.
Yes.
Ms. Keener.
Yes.
Mrs. Siebel.
Yes.
Mr. Severance.
Yes.
Mr. Mahan.
Yes.
Mrs. Woods.
Yes.
The rule is suspended. Mr.
Yep. Yes, I move to adopt Resolution 2025-123.
Second?
And moved and seconded for the adoption of this resolution. Any discussion? Mr. Severance.
Council, we had a session earlier tonight to discuss this piece of property for our city, and I believe we have good support from the township as well. I believe this is a good decision for us to purchase this. Are there any questions or any other comments at this time from you?
I'm in favor of this, but it's listed under land use and development. Is that going to
Correct.
be a
That
problem?
would need to be changed, I believe.
Okay.
Correct?
Is that just a
Thank you.
Scrivener's error?
Well,
Actually.
actually, yeah, as an
Yeah.
acquisition piece, it should be under Councilwoman Keener.
But anyone can move, and anyone can second. Trust me. I know, I've played that card, so no, you're good.
Okay.
I think that Mr.
I'm speaking
Severance,
for Amber.
but Mr. Severance has been very influential in this, and he does a great job of watching our community streets, so I think that the credit should go to Mr. Severance.
Any other discussion?
I just think somebody needs to talk about how it fits in the plan, too. 'cause it-
Oh.
You want to?
I can talk,
Yeah.
I'll speak to this. This is a problem intersection that we have been enduring for a long time. And we're talking about Old Mansfield Road, Fairgrounds Road, and Clinton Road. There is a major dogleg there that has bottlenecked traffic. It is forced cut-through traffic on Fern, Pearl, what's the other one up there?
Vernon Pearl.
Vernon Pearl in particular. And so when we did the comprehensive planning for transportation, this area lit up like a Christmas tree, that the stakeholders said, you really need to do whatever you can to fix this. And so we have the opportunity with the purchase of this property, with council's purchase of this property, the city's purchase of this property, to fix that intersection so that it is not a dogleg but a crossroads. And so people can turn left and turn right and not have to wait minutes on end to be able to do that. It is also within our new zoning code. We do not allow doglegs, and it's right out of the gate. It addresses some of our transportation needs and the city's transportation plan as well. So.
And this just hit me, but we just spent a good deal of money up there on a new walkway, a multi-use path. And I actually walked on it the other day because it actually was hard. It was hardened. The cement was ready to go. But you actually have to cross Clinton and then cross Mansfield to stay on it. This would alleviate that. You would only have to cross one time to stay on that multi-use path. I think it'll help improve safety for pedestrians in that area as
It
well.
should,
To
yeah, it should.
have just one intersection there and not two intersections.
It is a frequently complained about intersection that we have the chance to fix that now.
Right.
It won't happen overnight, but we will at least have the property and can plan.
At this point, we're just purchasing the property.
That is correct.
We're not
You
designing
still
it.
have to
That is
go
correct.
through design and, yeah.
And the county has indicated they would be very happy to help with this too.
Okay. Any other discussion? Mr. Sherman.
Mr. Ruckman.
Yes.
Ms. Keener.
Yes.
Mrs. Siebold.
Yes.
Mr. Severance.
Yes.
Mr. Mahan.
Yes.
Mrs. Woods.
Yes.
That concludes the resolutions. We now move to ordinances. We have none for third reading. We do have one for second reading. That's ordinance number 2025-33. Mr. Sherman.
An ordinance to approve, adopt, and enact the August 2025 replacement pages to the codified ordinances, to repeal ordinances in conflict therewith, to publish the enactment of new matter, and declaring an emergency.
Mrs. Gainer.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'm going to give this its second reading.
This resolution receives its second reading. We now move to ordinance of first reading. First ordinance is ordinance number 2025-34. Mr. Sherman.
An ordinance establishing annual wastewater rate adjustments for calendar years 2026, 2027, and 2028.
Mr. Ruckman.
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. I'd like to give this its first reading. Do we want a committee meeting next one?
24th.
On the
15.
24th, let's, do a 15-minute committee meeting on the 24th, please.
This ordinance receives its first reading. We now move to ordinance number 2025-35. Mr. Sherman.
An ordinance authorizing the execution and delivery of a petition adding territory to the Mount Vernon New Community Authority District under Ohio Revised Code, Chapter 349, and declaring an emergency.
Mrs. Gainer.
Thank you, Mr. President. We're going to give this its first reading and,
17th, it has to be passed.
okay.
In
Do we
order
need a
for, in order
committee?
for the public hearing, before you, unless you want to
Yeah.
be here Christmas Eve.
No.
What else is anybody going to be doing? I mean,
Yeah.
10 minutes on the 17th, if that's possible.
An ordinance receives its first reading. We will bring it back up next week on the 17th. That special meeting. Ordinance number 2025-36. Mr. Sherman.
An ordinance determining that a petition adding territory to the Mount Vernon New Community Authority District is sufficient and complies with the requirements of Section 349.03 of the Ohio Revised Code in form and substance, setting the time and place for a hearing on the petition and authorizing the notice by publication of such hearing and declaring an emergency.
Mrs. Gainer.
Thank you, Mr. President. We're going to give this its first reading as well. And can we wrap this into that 10-minute committee meeting, or do you think we need to?
We might give both of them 15, maybe.
Yeah.
Let's do a 15.
Yeah, I think we can do 15 minutes for both because I will cut you off. So.
That ordinance receives its first reading, and we now move the final ordinance, is ordinance number 2025-37. Mr. Sherman.
An ordinance approving the execution of a community reinvestment area agreement between the City of Mount Vernon and Founders Grove LLC.
Mrs. Gainer.
Thank you, Mr. President. We're going to give this its first reading as well.
15 on the 24th.
We could do 15
Okay,
minutes
on the 24th. That's what my question was. So 15 minutes for this one on November 24th.
This ordinance receives its first reading. That concludes the legislative portion of the meeting. We now move to remarks from administration. Mayor Starr.
Thank you, Mr. President and Council. I want to, we covered a lot tonight. We are looking at a lot of investment in this community. Many things are breaking, and we know we need to repair them, we need to replace them. And so we're taking a lot of time studying this information from what water systems are going to be the most beneficial in the long term for us, what's going to help us with housing, what's going to continue to generate revenues. And so, not to mention, we have to pass a budget appropriations bill, or a piece of legislation by the end of the year as well, before everybody goes home sine die. Anyway, I know there's a lot, but I'm just urging all of us to dig in and finish strong. We've got some great things that are happening, and appreciate everybody's work on that. Having said that, you can reach out to Tanner and I anytime. We'll be very happy to answer any of those questions or find out information that we need to be able to get you to be able to explain to the public where we are. The only other thing I wanted to mention this evening is that on Tuesday there is a Veterans Day ceremony at the Knox Memorial. It was going to be on Public Square, but due to the weather, potential foul weather, they elected to move it inside the Knox Memorial. So that'll be on the 11th, and it starts at 11?
I think 11, right?
Yes, it's
11 o'clock. Anyway, that is all, Mr. President.
Thank you. Mr. Sayers.
Thank you, Mr. President. Speaking of budget appropriations, still finalizing some things. You have your budget sheets shared with you. There is a budget manager. It's an additional spreadsheet. Love me some spreadsheets that I'll be sharing with you sometime this week. Be scheduling some of those. I know we talked about extending that work session, but just for the sake of all of our schedules, it looks like the 17th is when that work session is going to take place. I think, so we don't have another ream of paper for an agenda, if we could address some of these more, I don't know, procedural pieces of legislation on that day and move through some of those, that might help as we reach the end of the year. We may end sine die, but the business world does not. So that's why some of these things are coming to you. It's not as though that we wanted to thrust this upon you at the end of the year. That's just when they had them prepared for you, fortunately. So we'll try to organize these appropriation meetings individually with the council members that represent the committees that represent those departments. We'll have those discussions with you, in the small setting. That way we can answer any questions more intimately. And then when we have our work sessions, we can go through those things. Frankly, the budget is not nothing particularly controversial. I'll go ahead and tell you that we've, because of our revenue growth and us trying to hone in, I'll look to Dan, and I also want to give an honorable mention to Paul, who did a lot of work. But we've been able to hone in on some of those numbers, and some of our funds are under appropriated. And that was intentional because, and we've made some cuts that are, I think, necessary because we know that we do have some debt that we'll be taking on, and I want that gap to exist. That way, come the spring, when we're ready to go place some of these bonds for construction, and when we have a better idea of what these projects will cost, then we can come back in and reappropriate those figures. That way we will know where to place that debt service. But we're going in very conservatively and moving forward from that. So we're working hard, and we appreciate all the work that you've been doing. We've done some, like we said before, big, bold things, and we'll continue to find things that are broken and fix them. Thank you, Council.
Sir, do we have a time on the 17th yet?
Noon. No, I'm thinking 6, because we'll want to address 6 or 6:30, because we'll want to address some of these pieces of legislation, and because it will be an actual session of council. It'll be a meeting, and then we will adjourn from that into a work session, an informal work session, like we do every year for appropriations.
6:30?
Well, I mean, I'm good either way, but I mean,
What works best for you?
What
We're-
works best?
As long as it's not any earlier than 6.
6.
Okay, yeah, I figured
6.
dinner. And
I
then-
have a meeting at 6, but I will come as soon as that meeting is over.
6:30 be better?
Yes.
Okay,
6:30.
6:30 is fine with us.
6:30 next Monday.
Keep you here. till
And
nine.
remember,
was gonna say, can we
this
get
is
it
a special
before
meeting, council, so the only thing we can discuss are things that are listed in the announcement for that meeting. We can't just bring up other topics. So we'll cut to the chase as far as all the other things in the meeting. And so it will happen at 6:30 next Monday. Mr. Brinkman,
Nothing tonight, Mr. President. Thank you.
Mrs. Whitney,
Nothing from the law director's office this evening.
Mr. Severance.
We have a lot of millions of dollars on our agenda, folks, to deal with over the next few weeks. So I don't know. It just seems like a lot. I'm just voicing my thoughts in my head right now, but that's a lot of money. But I know one of the things I mentioned to Mr. Miller between is that, if the building wasn't falling down over here behind us or wherever it's at, we'd be in a better position. But we're having to do some of these things because we have a building that's falling down. So I look forward to this, though, in the future. It'll be neat to be on the other side of all of these buildings and finishing these projects someday and all the water upgrades, but it's a lot, so.
Make the community feel comfortable where the money's coming from. You know, we're talking about spending this, where's the money coming from? I get that question. Where's it coming from? Make them feel comfortable and make it transparent and open.
Yep.
Mr.
Thank
Mann.
I want to wish a happy birthday to President Hawkins and also
Oh, he broke.
who shares a birthday, by the way, with the United States Marine Corps. And this is the 250th birthday of the United States Marine Corps. So to all my fellow devil dogs, hoorah, yut, and eat some cake. And try not to break anything this evening. Wishing all of the veterans a happy Veterans Day as well. Give a shout out to my buddy Kevin Henthorn, who does a great job with Knox County Veteran Services, and he told me will be on a kayak tomorrow floating down a river. So, and I also told him better him than me tomorrow on a kayak. But happy Veterans Day. And do remember that Janice's fire truck, we need to discuss that on the 17th, not the 24th. So, thank you, Mr. President, and happy birthday.
You just want to ride in my fire truck, don't you?
Mrs. Woods.
Oh, nothing this evening, thank you.
Mrs. Sebo.
Thank you. I just want to say to all the veterans, tomorrow you can go out for breakfast at a lot of places and get a free breakfast, and a lot of them will give you a free lunch and dinner, so you've got a lot of things that you can go around and make use of because people want to honor you. So go and enjoy. I know my husband's a veteran, and he wants to go out for breakfast because he wants to get the free stuff, so we'll be going out, so I hope to see a lot of veterans out. That's all I've got to say. And happy birthday, Bruce.
Hey, thank you. Let's see, Mrs. Skinner.
Nothing this evening, thank you.
Mr. Ruckman.
Nothing this evening, Mr. President.
I would like to call the community's attention to John Francis, who served on council for many, many years. He's had some health issues, and he's in OSU Heart Hospital. He had a lot of complications. So please keep John in your prayers and minds, because John was a great council person, put a lot of time in here. Appreciate what he's done. Council, any plans for the Christmas parade? You want to be in the Christmas
I'll be
parade?
there.
Huh?
Extra meetings, is that what you're asking?
Can we conduct business on a float?
Do you want to ride on the float, or are you going to be here, or are you going to be off?
Who wants to be on a float for the Christmas parade?
I want to be on.
You want to be on the float?
I've never been on a float.
Well, I really like that.
I will if it's not 12 degrees, and it was freezing last year, but I mean, we did it. We were there.
So,
Whatever.
Jay, will you be on the float?
I'll either walk or ride, depending however it goes.
I think I walked
Depending on
last
how
year to
warm
stay
it is.
warm, so I will do it. When is it?
So,
The 30th,
The
November
30th.
30th.
It's the day after the high state game.
so John, what about you?
Maybe it depends.
Will you bring one of your beautiful children and be on the float?
Actually, I can't be there. I could send the 8 children, though. I'm sure Amy would love that.
It's a fire hazard.
And Tammy, will you
Yeah,
be
this is
there?
our last shot, you know, so.
Yes,
Let's do it. We'll do it, yes, sure.
Okay, and then Bruce, will you be on
Yeah, I'll
the
be
float?
there.
I guess, so we'll have a float then.
As long as the high
Tanner, will
state
you
wins.
join us on the float? You won't? Matt, will you?
I will be shoveling poop.
That's right.
Say, it's our last time to be on there, don't you? Somebody wanted from the administration, because I hate to tell you, the last administration rode on the float with us.
It's the council's float.
No, they rode on with us.
Do we know what time it is that day?
I think
feel like
it's
I'd be a
at
bully.
2, but I
Brittany,
don't count on that.
how about you guys? You want to ride, Dan, and you go, do you want to be on the float with us?
I'll bring you some candy. I'll join you.
Good, thank you, Dan. How about you, Zach? You're part of this. Look at the face. Don't wimp out on us.
Just laying it on them, didn't I?
Sure.
Don't let her bully you like that.
I feel like I'm being hazed.
We appreciate Seabolt's providing the vehicle for that, because that's, they put a lot of work into that, and appreciate John and Janice doing that for us. That being said, I call, and thank you, media, for being here this evening, and thank you for watching online, people putting the council meeting online for people to watch. That being said, I call for adjournment.
So move.
Second.
And move to second, we adjourn. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. We are adjourned.